I have a Bible. You want it?
Can somebody hold
Diane, come here. Gina, come here. Hold the Bible for us.
Yeah. That's good. Yes, hold it.
Left hand, please. Right hand's raised.
You've done this before.
I'm so glad you're on the board to tell me as a lawyer what to do.
All right, I just want to say before I just do the honors is that thank you both for asking me. I'm privileged to be here today and to swear both of you in, and especially two people that have been so dedicated to the democratic elective process, and both well deserved. So if you would, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state my name.
I, Joyce Kilteston,
I, David J. Beatrice,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
of the United States and of the state of Ohio,
of the United States and the state of Ohio,
that I will enforce the election laws,
that I will enforce the election laws,
protect and preserve the records
protect and preserve the records,
and property pertaining to elections,
and property pertaining to elections,
and perform my duties
and perform my duties
as a member of the Board of Elections
as a member of the Board of Elections
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
This I shall do
This I shall do,
as I shall answer unto God.
as I shall answer unto God.
Can I get Sandy to get a picture real quick? Hold on. Ready, Joyce?
Yes.
Go over here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
I don't sit there anymore.
You want to sign?
Oh, sure.
Sign there. Sign there. Put your name, put your name.
Joyce, you got a print your name, you do.
I'll do this.
Thank you both so much. And gentlemen, I'm Malarkey's back there.
Seventh day of December.
Dave's living in.
That's right. Pearl Harbor.
You want to call the roll?
I was waiting for the judge to be done.
He's basically done.
David.
Just give him a minute.
Patience.
We wait for you in a minute, what's gonna hurt?
Because we're not doing 8 o'clock meetings anymore. Oh, this is so over.
I was gonna suggest that, but I thought
Because some of us, I don't know, do you still work?
a part-time, different
Yeah.
places, but,
But it's tough on a work day, 8 o'clock in the morning, I feel
Right.
rushed.
yep.
You feel rested?
No.
No, she's retired now.
How come I feel like I'm still working?
Why don't you take 11 Craig Road? Make sure you're okay with it. We should go to check. Take this?
This is mine.
No, Dave Petrus.
Why do you have this as mine?
I don't know unless that's right.
Okay. Bringing down clerk report.
Yes, I will.
Clerk report.
Thank you, Judge, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take
Judge.
care.
Good to
Nice
see
to
you.
meet everybody.
Thank you. Do you need
Thank
help?
you.
You want me to help you, okay?
Oh, I'm good.
Thank you.
David, good luck.
Thanks, Judge, I appreciate it. I appreciate you
Good
serving
seeing
me.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good seeing everybody. Tom, I see you.
Yeah.
See you.
Call the meeting to order, Tuesday, December 7th, 8:18. Call the roll.
Ms. Calpesta,
Present.
Attorney Beatrice,
Present.
Ms. Barger,
Present.
Mr. Arndt.
Present.
A moment of silence for our nation.
Especially today's Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah, 1941.
God, 70 years ago.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I believe this is the first time that the board has had two women on it.
It is, congratulations to us.
Yeah, congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And now we're going to do the Board of Elections reorganization of the board. So we're going to select a temporary chairman.
I nominate Sandra Barger to act as temporary chairman.
Do you have a second?
I second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Calpesta,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Arndt.
Yes.
So now we're going to step 2.
I nominate that we appoint Thomas P. McCabe, Director of the Mahoney County Board of Elections.
I second.
I don't know that you can do that as the opposite party.
It's a board hire.
I think she's right. I
Yeah,
think
I
they
think
have
it
to.
has to come from the same
Or
party.
the second can come.
Nominations are made for
Okay.
director, the person, so.
Yeah, yes, she would.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
Thank you,
okay.
David.
I'll nominate Tom McCabe.
I'm allowed to second. I'll second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Calpesta.
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Arndt.
Yes.
So now we need to elect a new chairman of the board.
I
So-
nominate.
Okay, I just want to say it has to be of the opposite party of Tom, per Ohio law.
Correct, yes, that's, yeah.
Go ahead.
I nominate David Beatrice to be chairman of the Board of Elections of Hawaiian County.
And I'll second it. Take the roll, please.
Ms. Calpesta,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Am I allowed to vote on that?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Barger.
Yes.
Mr. Arndt.
Yes.
Okay, and then we need a selection of the vice chairman of the board.
I nominate Sandra Barger.
I second.
Take the roll.
Ms. Calpesta,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Arndt.
Yes.
Trying to get used to these new names.
Okay,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome. You've been wanting to hit that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta wait till the end.
And everybody else.
Now we have to do, is there, well, you need to do this now.
Is there any old business? I have some old business. I am distributing to my fellow board members a copy of a letter I got from the Ohio Ethics Commission.
I don't have a copy.
They all have a copy, and
Yes.
Tom, I'd ask that you keep it here on file,
Okay.
should any press want to see it. The reason I wrote this is I heard through the grapevine that Melissa Wasco might be applying for the director's job. I knew she to be an ex-client of mine. I knew from being a special prosecutor that the questions might be raised, so I myself wrote a letter to the director, Paul Nick, who I know, and asked him for an opinion, and this is his opinion. And so basically it says I'm allowed to do it, and I don't know if any other ex-clients might apply, so.
That's true.
So this lays out the rules, and I just want my fellow board members to know that the ethics rules apply to us. So, my suggestion is we all read them and be cognizant of them. I knew the answer to this, but I wanted it officially from the Ohio Ethics Commission.
Well, thank you.
All right. Any new business?
I think Sandy has new business.
Yes, we did some interviews to fill a position that, for Raymond, and, last night. We had 2 good candidates that applied. However, you want to talk about Annie, since you've known her for some time?
Oh, sure. Amy Colucci has been involved up here since 2004. She worked part-time from 2004 to 2006 here. Mostly the warehouse, programming machines, warehouse duties, as well as a few things up front. And then she's been a field representative from 2010 to this past November for us, as well as a troubleshooter on the field. Annie's a good person. She has a lot of experience in HR and payroll, which this job entails. And after the interviews last night, we decided that Annie would probably be the best fit for us.
Well, my position on this is that this is a Republican appointment, and I'm going to defer to the Republicans. If this is who they want, I'm going to follow whatever you guys want.
Well, then I will make a motion to hire Annie Marie Colucci to start, we're talking about December 27th,
The day after Christmas.
day after,
The day after
well, the
Christmas break.
weekend, right.
I'll second that.
Take the roll, Tom?
Ms. Kelpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arant?
Yes.
And then, under new business, David and I have created a committee.
Yeah, I want to read a press release that will be going out
That will be going
today.
out today about the hiring of the deputy director of Democratic.
So I just want you to know. Beatrice announces that a 4-person selection committee will vet applicants, recommend most qualified candidate to serve as the Deputy Director of the Mahoney County Board of Elections. Attorney David J. Beatrice, chairperson of the Mahoney County Board of Elections, announced today that a 4-person committee will review all applications submitted for the position of Deputy Director, interview and vet the candidates, and then make a hire recommendation to the full board. The position, which under the provision of the Ohio Code must be filled by a registered Democrat, became available when longtime BOP Director Joyce Kelpesta retired earlier this year. Ms. Kelpesta, one of Ohio's most respected election officials, is assuming the seat on the board. The selection committee is comprised of Attorney Beatrice, Ms. Kelpesta, Mr. Herb Washington, CEO and founder of HLW Fast Track, and Chief Deputy Clerk of the Mahoney County Clerk of Courts, Kathy McMath Welsh. Quote, given the critical role the Deputy Director plays in ensuring the integrity of our electoral process, Joyce and I thought it was extremely important to involve trusted community leaders like Herb and Kathy in what will be fair and transparent selection process, Attorney Beatrice said. Applicants and detailed job descriptions may be obtained at the BOP offices at 345 Oak Hill, Suite 101, Youngstown, Ohio, or download from the BOP website. Applications must be submitted or emailed to jpesta at Mahoney County Government no later than mahoneycountyoh.gov. No later than December 17th, 2021. The position pays $81,000 per year. For information, please contact Attorney Dave Beatrice. That'll be going out today.
Okay.
And any other new business? I have something for the good of the order. And I say this with the utmost respect to my fellow Republican board members. But what we did to Joyce weakened the Board of Elections. It did not strengthen it. So Chris Rackesee, this is why I think on a case-by-case basis it has to be done. I know you guys don't know this history, but Joyce left her dying son because an election was going on. Joyce came back early from a heart attack because an election was going on. We should not dissuade people, especially the most important and critical functions. What we have basically said to the top people in this organization is, take your sick days, don't come into work. Chris Rackesee has 1,600 hours of sick time. God forbid he's sick on election day. I don't know what we'd do. I mean, we'd really be stuck, and he's a Republican member.
Chris would come in. Well,
There's no incentive. And so a lot of times what I hear from the right is, well, unions, they portray lack of work ethic. Well, what we voted on is exactly that attitude. We are telling our director and our deputy director, don't go above and beyond the call of duty because you're not going to get compensated for it. And if you have sick time, by the way, don't use your vacation time, use your sick time. Now I don't mean the run of the mill, and I don't mean to belittle the hard work these people that were sitting in the audience do. But for the people that are in top management positions, on the most sacred thing that's entrusted to us in our democracy is people's right to vote. We have made the Mahoning County Board of Elections, in my opinion, weaker, not stronger, because we have basically said to the most critical people, anything over 250 you're not going to get compensated for. We're not going to reward you coming in, leaving your near dead child if you feel like you have a sniffle. I mean, Chris Rackesee has 35 weeks of sick time. All we've encouraged him to do is take sick days. And I don't think that's a good work environment. And I don't want to debate it. It's just something I felt like I had to say. I know what the county policy is, but we're an autonomous board. We do not have to do what the county says. We have to follow the election laws. We're specifically and legally set up to be autonomous from everyone. Because what is entrusted in our hands is the people's voice. That's what's entrusted in our hands. And we must do everything to be as transparent, to be as nonpartisan as possible when we sit as a board, okay? And to make sure that everyone who's legally allowed to vote can vote, and to make the process easy, open, and transparent. That is going to be the tenure of my chairmanship. We're going to be transparent, we're going to be open, and we're going to try to run a board that people can be proud of. And hopefully under Tom's direction, and when we get him a wing person, because I know it's a lot for one person, because I've been here, and it's a lot. And so hopefully this selection process will go as rapidly as possible. And that's all I wanted to say for the good of the order. I understand my Republican members' positions. I would just say to them, if you really think it through, Chris Rackesee is going to be taking a lot of sick days. And I don't know if that's good for this board. I just don't think it's good for this organization. There's no one that works harder, and no one that knows that job. No one else knows Chris's job but Chris. Chris goes down, we're in big trouble. And I don't know if you guys know that or not, but I know that. I know that if Chris isn't here, things can go sideways real fast. And so that's all I wanted to say. I don't want to debate it. I just felt I had to say it. I want to make this board as strong as possible. I want us to be a leader in the state. I want us to get along. And I want us to be as transparent as possible. And how the chips fall is how the chips fall. And that's what we took an oath, Joyce and I, this morning, is to make sure that people's voices are heard and to run the best board we can and to have the best employees we can. And that's all I wanted to say. All right, I want to make a change to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but 8 a.m. is a tough thing for me because I still work full time. Right now I'm supposed to be in court. So I'm going to have to get yelled at the judge because I'm late, but he'll understand. But I would like to set him at 4, and I'd like to have some discussion on what everyone thinks about changing the time from 8 until 4.
I don't have a problem with
I don't have a problem with
I think we prefer that.
that. I think, yeah.
Okay,
That way
so,
if anything arises, it can be handled during the day before the board meets.
yeah. So let's change that time from the next regularly scheduled meeting from Tuesday, January 4th at 8 to Tuesday, January 4th at 4. I'll need a motion to do that.
I'll make a, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Joyce.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to change the meeting time to 4 PM.
I'll second.
Call the roll. Any discussion? I think we already did. Call the roll.
Ms. Galvesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Mrs. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
Will
Good.
that be consistently 4 o'clock then for our?
I think that's a good time
I think
because,
that's good for the public, too.
yeah, I think that's good for the
It
public.
is good for the public, you're right.
I mean, I'd actually like it 4:30 in case any people like to work till 4.
Mhm.
Because I'd like to get more, I think the more eyes that are on us, that's why we post this on our website. I want to be as transparent as possible. I want people to come in and see how complicated and how many checks and balances are in on our voting
I
systems.
think this would be good for school kids.
Yeah,
Mhm. Oh, correct.
yeah.
It's good.
And so, Tom, 2 other things I want to do, I know are there before we adjourn. All 3 stations do public service announcements.
Correct.
Either me or you can reach out to the directors of the 3 stations and see if they would like to do a public service announcement. Maybe Sandy and I can be the chairman and vice chairman, saying, now's the time to register, or something like that. If it's all right with you, Tom, I'm gonna reach out and see if we can't get them to do public service announcements about registering to voting and where voting is. Because under the FCC, they have to do so many public service announcements, and certainly voting is one of them.
Last time we reached out to them, they were doing them for the commissioners with the COVID, remember?
That's correct.
So we didn't get any ESAs at that time. So probably now would be a good time to reach out again because,
Yeah.
we should be able to get some time.
Yeah.
All right.
Early voting would be a good one.
And I think the vice chairwoman had an excellent idea. So I'd make a motion that Tom writes a standard letter that can be sent to all the schools, inviting any government classes to come and watch the Mahoning County Board of Elections hold their meetings.
I think
And-
that was Bob who stated that.
Yeah.
It was
we've
Bob who
Bob.
stated that, yes.
Bob. And I like that idea. And
I
so,
like it to go to YSU too.
yeah, and so
Besides
to the
schools.
political science department and to all the schools in all 16 political subdivisions, either to the principal or vice principal, telling them there's a new board and children, we'd like to have your government classes come in and see how the Mahoning County Board of Elections, like give them a thing. The other thing I'd like to do, and I'd like the board members, I'd like to hold an open house for the public. I'd like the public to be able to come down here, see how the process goes, and just have generally one day where we have an open house and invite people in to inspect everything that goes on. I don't know what you think of that idea, Joyce or Tom or anyone?
Well, right now, with the cold season and the flu season and everything going on, I think maybe in the spring, it might be a better idea to do it before the May election.
Okay.
But right now, to do it now.
No, I don't think do it now, but I think before the May election.
Yeah, I think maybe in April
Yeah, that
would be a good time.
April
to do
would be
it.
a good time. We could
April,
just
yeah.
set up an open house. I'll provide
Sure.
the sodas and stuff, and we could just invite the entire public down and say, look, there's been a lot of discussion about voting and what's going on. Come
Like
down
the
and
process from the
we'll
beginning.
show you how it works, and maybe we can have a chart set up as to.
Well, I think what we did when we had the poll workers come in to do a review of what they were training, we had everything set up in this room. And we had a little service desk, and they would go to each service desk, and they would explain what they did. And maybe that's how we handled the open house, and then have a
Yeah.
tour of the board afterwards. But
Yeah.
I think it'd be easier to do in one room if they just want to come in and see what
I agree,
what
I agree,
happens
but
here.
I would also like, and maybe you and I can work on this, Joyce, to set up a chart, to do a big thing you get from Kinko's, a big chart.
Mhm.
Yeah, register to vote, early voting. Then you vote at the precinct. Then that stick,
Oh, do like a
yeah,
graph.
that stick is
Yeah.
then sent in a bag.
I see, like.
That bag is then
this,
counted at a
this,
computer. That computer is not tied to the internet.
This, and this.
Yeah, and then after that, that's the unofficial result.
Mm-hmm.
Because people keep, thinking
They
that's,
think they could
that's the
elect
official
them.
result, and it's not. Because I had to spend 2 hours in the FBI office explaining why I didn't try to fix the Struthers mayor's race. And then how we then run the paper ballots to check the stick, and then how we audit that. And how there's actual paper ballots that are in a vault, locked, and no one has single access to them. And so I think we should go on an explanation tour. And Tom, in that letter, if you could also put that if they can't come in, one of the board members would be more than willing to go to their schools and explain, and that's why I'd like that chart, how the voting system is done.
We used to send teams to the schools.
We don't need to
before-
send teams, one of us can do it, or Tom can
No,
do
we used
it.
to send teams at DNR because they would register the kids to vote also.
Right.
And they would explain and do the things.
But I think with everything that's gone on lately, especially when people don't understand absentee and how Ohio does it right, I think other states do it wrong. Like, we run our absentees, we just don't tally them. And we can explain to people, there's a difference between counting them
That
before
day.
and counting them after, and how long the process takes, and provisional ballots, and why, and I think if we get to the young people and explain to them, I think it's so important for us to do that. So in that letter, I'd like to review it, but also put in that if they can't come, we'll send a board member to explain to them how that works. Does anyone have a problem with that?
No,
Excellent.
we've talked about this.
I just think that the more people are exposed to how this runs, the more trust they will have in this system. And we have to engender trust in the public, because there's nothing, I'm a trial lawyer, and I go into court, and I have people's liberties in their hands. But voting is as important, if not more important, than jury service. Those are two governmental functions that citizens must engage in to protect our democracy. And so I think the more we explain it, the more they understand it, the better off we are.
May I make a suggestion? Whoever we hire as deputy director, maybe this is an early project to get them their feet wet and get them, involved in how elections work themselves,
Yeah,
and get things going. So maybe you two can work with the team,
yeah.
to
But I'd like the
get
letter
this
to
done.
go out.
Oh, no, I agree with the letter. Maybe after Christmas. Tom.
After Christmas.
Yeah, after Christmas.
The schools will be down.
Yeah.
Joyce, have we gotten any applications besides the one we talked
I
about?
haven't even gotten that one that we
Oh,
spoke about.
really?
I've only gotten Roki's,
Okay,
Roki Suleiman's.
all right.
That's the only one I've gotten so far. I've received no others so far.
So, and who we selected was, we selected a CEO from the private sector.
Yes, I know.
We selected Kathy McNabb Welsh, who is
An administrator.
an administrator in the public sector. Joyce, who knows the qualities better than anyone else of what is needed to be the Board of Elections, and me, with my legal background and a private employer, I think we got a good balance there to vet candidates and make sure we get the best one. This is not gonna be the old days where this is where we do political hacks or reward, favoritism. I wanna pick the best candidate possible, and that's my goal, and that's Joyce's goal too.
It is.
Okay?
Yep.
Is there anything else?
No.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Call the roll.
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Mrs. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned. Tom, right